Welcome back to Eagles Draft Central. We're going to look at a number of things connected with the Eagles draft here. It's upcoming next week, Thursday for you, Friday for me. We're going to get into it. We're going to look at the offensive line. Different priorities with two different positional groups, essentially, with exterior tackle, interior guard to center. Let's see what the Eagles' approach might be and look at as well the players that we have and how they figure into the picture because it's a little convoluted as of the moment. What's up? It's your boy Cintron coming back at you with another analysis video. To kid you not, that's my real name. NFL Draft Rankings 2024. Interior offensive line. We'll get to tackle in a second. But first, we got to deal with the man in the middle. And our current situation, Cam Jurgens has officially been sent over to center, back to his original position after playing out of position at guard. Jason Kelce selected him himself to be his heir apparent out of Nebraska. So Beef Jurgens, as he's known, has his own jerky brand. Shout out to him. Will be a stabilizer there. He's made the offensive line calls in the protection calls in college. So he says he feels comfortable doing that. He will be a third-year player. Let's go ahead and put that on paper because people have the guy pictured here wanting him to take over. He'd be a rookie, essentially. Not essentially, he would be a rookie. And a rookie by way of also trying to come in and learn an offense, an NFL offense. And that's a big step. I don't care how damn good he is. Not many guys come in, hit the ground running. Jason Kelce didn't just happen overnight. He built himself to that guy. Creed Humphrey, while he played impressively as a rookie, is not the center that he was when he first came into the league. There is a level of acclimation that needs to take place, and it's not a need. Why are you pushing it? Now, guard is a whole other position. We have Tyler Steen there, but could he be best at tackle? We don't know. Matt Hennessy has that positional flexibility to also be a center and a guard, as well as a center at right guard. He could slot in there, even though he played at left guard last time he shifted to the guard position. That being said, we don't know how the Eagles feel about him. We will find out in the draft, and they will be telling where and when they take players. Because we know they're going to draft offensive linemen. We lost Opeta, Andre Dillard the past offseason, as well as our Swiss Army knife, Jack Driscoll, who started at guard and at tackle, most recently at tackle, filling in for Lane Johnson when he's had to come out of the lineup the past couple seasons. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where we go. So let's dive into the prospects, and I've given you a couple of takes on where our roster looks like, where our roster is currently, and what it looks like. Jackson Powers Johnson, I'm not debating that he'd be a good guy. Like his name states, he's got the power. He's really good in run and pass blocking. People say he looks like Kelce, but stop the train right there. We do not need this guy. He would be coming in. If he drafted him to be a guard, it'd be a waste of a pick because, like I said, we have Steen there, and first round, not deserving of that in that spot. The guy they have here second, I would actually push him down the list for this guy here. Well, he's not even on this list. He's on the tackle list. Graham Barton, a guy out of Duke who's played at left guard, right guard, center. He's got such positional flexibility, but people have him slotted in there for center because it's a pretty valuable position. The brain tower, control tower behind your quarterback. He, like Jason Kelce, made the line calls. He's the quarterback of the offensive line. He sets those things in place and has to notice, blitzing linebackers and being able to know where the pressure is going to be coming from. So that's a very important position. Being able to, the center quarterback exchange, being on the same page with that guy can make or break a young quarterback or any bond between the quarterback and his offensive line. It's the most important one. So, yeah, I don't deny the talent. I think he goes the second round, but shouldn't be in our eyesight. Neither should Graham Barton, who I believe also goes second round. He's a step behind Jackson Powers. So I think Jackson's been there maybe at center for a while longer, and he played. I forget where he played left, maybe left tackle or right tackle, but it'll be positional shift, even though he's had experience there. Now Cooper Beebe, I've seen a wide range him going from anywhere from second to fifth round. I'm like, it's got to be somewhere in the middle, so maybe second or third round. Not as talented as guys above him, but he's pretty experienced. 3,000 offensive snaps, yeah, man. But he's purely a guard, and I don't see us spinning a pick on a guy with that, flexibility. We'll get to that in a second. But I think we're going to go with somebody who's versatile and to fill that slot. And he won't just be a guard. So Zach Frazier, heard a little bit about him. I know there's a guy I'm thinking about. But he's pretty solid. I think he's a third round pick at tops, fourth round pick, pretty stable guy, more consistent technique. He would be praised more. You just need someone to come in and shape him up. Stoutland would be great. So if we're looking for a backup center, I don't think we would be this season. I think we're going to roll with Matt Hennessy, and maybe on the lower end, if we can get a guy in the 6th, 7th round, if we have a pick there, we'll try and get some depth there. But we could also maybe go the free agency route. I mean, we just haven't made it a priority at this moment, but I don't really have him slated. Christian Haynes is another interesting one. I think he could definitely be someone we add to the roster. Could be a futures guy, train him up and let him start in somewhere down the line. That being said, he'd be a good depth piece for us here in Philly, and I'd welcome him with open arms. Zach Zinner is a guy I have my eye on, slated to go maybe in the 4th, 5th round. A talented guy. A lot of pros, courtesy of Brian Baldinger, said this guy is going to be a starter, somewhere down the line for someone. So I'd love to have a guy like that in the building. In the interim, give us quality depth while, training him up, getting his play strength and getting him in the playbook and his understanding and knowledge up to an NFL level. Average athlete, but can do a lot with a guy who, has the fundamentals down and is very technically sound. Christian Mahogany, don't really know much about him. I know a little bit. I know that he can be, I think he's maybe like a depth piece at best. But hey, there's room for those guys in the NFL as well. Offensive linemen are hard to come by, and the game, it's getting more difficult to farm them from the college ranks because different offenses and some teams play with pro ready, but they play with a lot of different shortcuts baked into the offenses, and it kind of lengthens the learning curve for them when they finally do get to the pros. Cedric Van Pran, heard a lot about him as well. Talented guy. I think he's a junior coming out. A step behind the top guys, but he's seen as a guy with a lot of potential. Maybe the Eagles might look his direction. I think he's huge as well. Has a big wingspan. He looks solidly built. Bo Limmer, to a lesser degree, I think a lesser Zach Zinner. Like I said, there's room for depth, guys. Guys have a ceiling, and how really high is their ceiling, or say their or ceiling and their floor? When you got a guy like Stoutland who can turn chicken salad, make chicken salad out of chicken shake. So Mason McCormick, don't know to be honest, and Trevor Keegan, heard about him. Be interested to see what his ranking should be, but I heard he can do a little bit, but don't really know too much about his game. Now on to the premier position, the offensive tackle. So a lot. I mean, there's 7 or 8 guys with the first round grade here in this draft, and due to them being pushed down by quarterback needs and other positions, when there's a run on them, they're gonna go. That being said, there's a number of guys that you would slate as good protectors of the quarterback and pushers in the run game, and there's kind of something for everybody here. There's guys who are tackles only. There's guys who have positional flexibility, who I'll highlight and maybe harp on. And then there's guys who are pro ready now, and some that need a little bit of development, but there's something for everybody here. And some guys that actually their best position might be on the interior. It might have to shift inside. So let's dive into them. This guy here he's just the shining example of a pass pro guy, but needs to work on some other areas. So Joe Alt, he's seen as the safest prospect. Huge guy, 6'9", 321. Damn, I know he was that big, but he's seen as a top 10 pick. He's not gonna make it out of there. A foundational guy. Would love to have him, but let's be realistic. There's no way in hell he's gonna be a Philadelphia Eagle. As likely as this guy, unless we trade up. Even if we trade up, we're not gonna be able to make it this far. So rule that out. Talisi Fuaga, Oregon State. Perhaps if he drops a little bit, and the class, yeah, he'd be OT1, but there just happens to be a huge amount of depth there, and thanks to the teams hunting quarterbacks, hopefully some of these guys fall, and he won't be one of them, but he'd probably be, I would say, 11 or 12 at the latest. But he can also play guard as well, so watch for that on the list. Olumuyiwa Fashanu, I don't think he falls either. Very great pass blocker, but at this point, his running blocking needs to catch up to his pass game prowess. But because of that, people would definitely rather have it this way around than the other way around. He's a great road grader, but he can't pass pro for so you can work on that. It's a technical issue, and he'll get that up to speed. Now, Troy Fotano, because this be a guy that we trade up for, he's one of the guys that you can look at. Just a great athlete, just amazing, and he could play guard in the interim while we're waiting for Lane to say goodbye to the game. So I'd love to have a guy like that. I wouldn't be opposed. As the years passed, I didn't understand that while it's not sexy to draft a tackle or offensive lineman, man, those are foundational picks, and those are the guys you build your roster from the inside out. And you got to start with protecting the quarterback after you get one. It makes sense. I wouldn't put him here next, because after this, it's kind of like there's some flaws, huge flaws here or there. I would definitely put J.C. Latham after him, the number 5 guy, which in like normal draft he's 2, 3, or 4. But this just is an exceptional one. He has such a strong lower body, just strong overall. His hands, he's believed to be the strongest tackle in his class. And he looks well put together. I think he's like 6'5" or 6, 340, and he looks the fucking picture. So if he traded up for him, he could be able to play, might be able to play guard for us in the interim, and then transition to tackle as Lane, like I said, says goodbye. But yeah, he's a guy that I would love to have for the in the future. And if we're serious about winning in the interim, I think you do make that trade up for him and solidify that offensive line, make it maybe better than it was last year. And Kelsey's a huge loss, but be stabilized at the very least, maybe at center with Juergens shifting there, and we be in the running for that number 1 position. That being said, I don't know where we go with that. That we just go for a pure tackle only. Amarius Mims, he's talented, but he's only started 8 games. Great potential, but he's nowhere close to being ready. And that's fine, because we have 2 guys out there on the bookends, and Jordan Mailata at the left side and Lane Johnson on the right side, who are gonna be there for, I would say, at least the next couple seasons, the 2 seasons. Have them together. And he can get ready in that interim and be ready to hit the field in 2026. But, he might start somewhere down the line, because, hey, Lane has been able to stay healthy for the complete season for the last couple of years. Last time I think he did it, said 2015 or something like that. But, we still, we're getting primo starts from him. That being said, yeah, I think, Tyler Steen, if he doesn't start at guard, he could potentially be our new swing tackle. And he looked pretty good in the preseason, so we'll see what we have there. Graham Barton, he shouldn't even be on this list. Tyler Guyton is another guy, huge potential. Lane Johnson, protege, he went to Oklahoma as well. 6'7", and 320. Good pass pro. Still needs to learn some things. Not gonna hit the ground running, but hey, a lot to work with there. As is Kingsley Suamata, great athlete. I think he's 6'5", 315. Still growing into his body. I think he's a redshirt sophomore. So he's a young guy coming out. I'd love to have him in that second round, and we could maybe get our guy in the first round at corner if we want to, sacrifice the second round pick, and then get him as well. So we might be able to trade back a little bit and get him still. So read the tea leaves, how he's great at doing that. We'll see what we're able to get. Jordan Morgan, a guy who some people think, because his, I think, shorter arms might be better on the interior. He's pretty, sweet with it, his movement and such. And he's a guy I think has huge potential, as is Patrick Paul. Good measurables. I think he's like 6'7" as well, 320, 330 range. He could also play guard in the interim for us, and play tackle. But these guys are lesser guys as far as like not being ready. They're not as pro ready as some of the other guys polished above on the list. Nathan Thomas, don't know about him, to be honest with you. Blake Fisher, I've heard about, more potential at this point, but it needs a lot of work. Yeron Amekeji, If we're gonna go that route, a more developmental guy, played at a lesser level at in the Ivy League. He has some good traits. You know, physically 6'5". I think he's like 315 and 320, and he moves. You know, he's a nasty player. Can move some guys in the run game. Not quite there in some of the technical aspects, but you know, you can teach that. And hey, like I said, Stoutland can work with a lot. Dominic Pooney, not as great, you know, a ceiling, but has a solid floor. Can come in and at the very least give you backup, you know, worthy snaps, and then maybe could potentially develop into an average tackle. Walter Rouse has some good tools, but you know, doesn't have quite the potential that other guys have. Interesting depth piece though. Javon Foster is kind of similar story, but don't know that much about him, to be honest. Know nothing, next to nothing about Roger Rosengarten. First time I'm really seeing that name. Isaiah Adams, same. And Satel Lamu, heard about, you know, Laume or whatever. Sorry, butchering the name. Haven't really heard about him, to be honest. So that's the list. A huge, you know, depth. But as you can see, I would say after about 11, you know, the talent starts to take a bit of a dip. That being said, there's still guys, and there's other guys, you know, drafted that I haven't, you know, I'm missing on that are still quality guys you would want to go after. But let's shift into a little bit of different topic here. So strength of schedule, where the Eagles land in the ranking of all 32 teams. Let's go down to number 9. I already know where they are because, you know, I read the article before. That's what, you know, I'm Batman. Prep time. Give me that. Here we are. So the Eagles, like I said, we're at number 9. We should, you know, like top 10 in the league, top third of the league. And our non-division opponents, Falcons are gonna be weaker. Panthers are obviously weaker. Browns are one of the stronger teams. Steelers, not one of the stronger, but not too weak. Packers could be strong. We'll see how they, you know, fare out. Jaguars gonna be in the running for the AFC South crown. Ravens, obviously one of the top teams. Bengals will have a bounce back here, one of the top teams. Saints, weaker in, but, you know, battling for the best in the NFC worst, South. Buccaneers as well, best out of the worst teams, and the Rams. Retooling, so not as much of a threat, but, you know, they did give us some fits in the first half of the game last year. But, hey, man, 10.5 wins, I'll take that. I think that might be all it takes to take the NFC East, and we should be in the running for that crown. But anyways, you're not even watching, though. We're going to get up out of here. But, hey, I love talking about the Eagles, and I love making these videos. So we're going to chunk the deuces officially. But as always, it's Fly, Eagles, Fly. And let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.